Hello and welcome to the good ship Who Corners Corner. I'm Captain Geoff and I'm joined by First Mate
Hello
Paul.
there, Captain.
And I'm joined by Deckhand Freya tonight.
Hi.
That was very pirate Freya, weren't it?
Freya.
Freya. Arr. Arr.
We're
Cornish pirates. Well, we are kind of local-ish to that part of the world.
Yes, and I'm
You're
part
You're
Cornish,
sort
so...
of mid-country. You're Sussex. You're a Sussex pirate, yeah? Okay.
You're northern.
No, I am part Cornish. My dad's from
Yes,
Cornwall.
you are, mate. Yeah, I do apologise. Yeah, I'll take that all
You're
back.
not very piratey. You're
So,
northern.
take a long walk off a short plank.
Oh,
for
you
that.
see what he did there? That was amazing. He's on fire tonight, eh?
I get it.
I wish I was. I must admit, mate, my head is kind of reeling for various reasons. Not only the fact that it is gone 10 o'clock on Easter Sunday, but also...
It's like 10:08.
It's actually 10:08, yes, because we wanted to record this
that's
quickly,
how
didn't we?
dedicated we are. Yeah, I've done about 4 hours
Yeah,
of
well done,
driving
mate.
today,
That's,
so yeah, I'm a bit
that's tidy, that
frazzled
is.
as well.
Magic, yes.
Yeah.
So why are we here then, Geoff? Why are we talking swashbuckling nonsense?
Well, we've just finished. Well, I've just finished watching Doctor Who: Legend of the Sea Devils. So we've congregated on the good ship Who Corners Corner to discuss tonight's episode, which is Jodie's penultimate adventure as the 13th Doctor, and we'll come on to that little teaser trailer later, I'm sure. But yeah, let's talk about this episode. So this one. I was going to say it's just a bit of fun, really, but actually it kind of got quite sort of, dramatically heavy in places, didn't it? And I very much enjoyed it overall. What did you guys think?
Yeah, Freya. Well, do you want to kick off?
Size.
Go on, you start while I drink my cup of tea.
It was good. I liked it. It was very good. Yes, it was quite tame. Not tame. I don't know the word. Wasn't like boom. It was more like bum bum bum, but not in a bad way, in a good way.
No, well, I think it was probably designed to be a bit of fun before
and a bit calmer than
the what's to come.
Finale kind of one will
Yeah, and I think that nobody sort of seems to really know whether this was a planned episode or perhaps an episode that would have been part of a normal length series and
Doesn't matter, does it? Really?
Into something.
I don't think it matters at all. It's there. It exists. It's a full script. So I'm kind of happy with it. I'm not going to lie. Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to say it's my favourite episode of Doctor Who ever or my favourite Jodie episode, but I did enjoy it. It was just like, let's just have a little bit of fun. Let's have some fun. Let's bring some old monsters back. The Sea Devils, we knew they were coming back.
We had a good sword fight on a pirate ship, which is always great.
Always good to have a sword fight in a pirate ship, and just a bit of a laugh, wasn't it? Before.
Yeah, I think like you just said, it's an episode that's there, and it was good fun. And in a normal series, this would be sort of the equivalent of a Nikola Tesla's Night of Terror,
probably.
perhaps. Because this is the second to last episode. Maybe we, I don't know if I was expecting, like the Master to turn up at the end or anything like that. I don't.
Of this one,
thought that would happen. Yeah, that there would be a sort of cliffhanger.
The trouble is, I think, is because with the stories we've had in the last few years, we've been given so many shocks and surprises.
I don't think they could do a cliffhanger very well. They could do a cliffhanger, but I think it would. Well, kind of the trailers already teased people so much, but I don't think they could do a cliffhanger because it's so long. It's quite long until the next one's going to come out.
True.
And I think people would just be like,
well, they would explode.
They would die, basically.
I would combust in some way. A part of me would just go pop, and that'd be the last I'd see of it.
It's a long time to.
And it was torturous.
To wait,
and they may not want to torture us that much.
Because we don't even know when the final Jodie episode is coming out, is it? We don't know exactly how long we've got to wait. A while.
Yeah. Yes, I would think it's going to be. August time.
Said autumn.
Yeah. Autumn is like
September,
October.
2022 on Instagram.
Yeah, that's a way off, isn't it? So we've got the whole summer to go before we can even see what's been going on there. I was going to say, actually, so we're talking about Legend of the Sea Devils being quite a sort of rompish, light-hearted sort of episode.
Tamer.
There you go. But it does start quite darkly, doesn't it? There's the sea devils slaughtering the whole village is quite something. We've never seen them be quite so vicious, I think, before.
No, I thought so as well. Yeah.
I mean, okay, they kind of marched
really
through the corridors, the brightly lit corridors of Sea Base 4 in Warriors of the Deep, and sort of slaughtered everybody, but it wasn't massively convincing. Whereas this is one sea devil brought to life somehow from a statue, and then proceeds to literally kill everybody in the village. Whoa, that's dark.
Yeah, yeah. He was quite violent without being particularly graphic. I thought. So yeah, you could tell immediately that they were going to be, I suppose, perhaps what the name and their sort of legend, precedes them about, that they're warriors and that they're violent and etc. etc. You actually see them going for it tonight.
Which is quite good, because I think because the masks look very much like they did in the 70s. And they have that almost really basic kind of look to them, with a bit of CGI or animatronics or whatever it was.
Because they're so old.
I love it.
They're so old. It's like they have to be basic because they've been around for so long that like.
Oh, you mean like within the fiction, because they're sort of prehistoric.
Fiction. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But this is yes, I see what you mean, and also this all took place before Sea Devils with the Third Doctor, didn't it?
Yeah. This is true, but what I was kind of getting at was that it would be quite easy to sort of laugh off the masks, if you know what I mean. It just looks like a rubber mask or something with a bit of CGI on it. But then you forget all that when you see them slaughtering all the villagers and being generally quite nasty and quite dominating.
Yeah, I thought the masks looked brilliant, and I think it was perhaps a sort of budgetary and timing thing that they weren't able to make, animatronic heads for it. But the CG embellishments on them worked really nicely, I think, and gave them extra life. That if the head had sort of had an opening mouth thing, which they never did really, to be fair, did they? It would have been fine. But it was really nice that the eyes blinked and there was the nose wrinkled and the throat thing was sort of pulsing.
There was some nice expression there, wasn't there?
I liked it. Yeah, there was, yeah. So, I didn't have any problem with any of that. I thought they looked great. The costumes were brilliant as well. Talking about that, I thought the whole production design was really nice. I mean, the village at the beginning was obviously a farm in Wales somewhere, but they dressed it really nicely, and it worked, and it was really effective with the rain and everything, and the beach scenes with the bits of boat on them and stuff like that, and the ships themselves. I mean, okay, fine, they were studio based, but it worked. The ship looked great in itself, some brilliant CGI again when the TARDIS was at the bottom of the ocean. It was lovely when the door opened and they looked out and everything. So for the episode itself, I did enjoy it, and I felt that it was perhaps a little bit kind of slow-ish at the start, and I suppose all the way through I was having a bit of a feeling of this is Jodie's second to last adventure, and I'm wanting greatness from it, and I did really enjoy it, like I said, but I suppose maybe it had been hyped up a bit in my head that it was going to be something absolutely incredible, when it was probably it was a bit of fun before tragedy. So I thought Jodie was excellent in it. I'd tweeted the other day I hope to get to see her sword fighting a la the Third Doctor. But that was really good fun. I enjoyed that. I liked seeing Yaz sword fighting as well, and working. We got a bit more of her, just the Doctor and Yaz as well, which I really liked. And they're quite... it's quite a mutual respect, I think, between them, and the Doctor has, trusted Yaz to, operate the TARDIS, and she's taken charge and is a lot more kind of, involved and knowledgeable, which I really liked seeing. What did you guys think about that side of things with the pair of them?
Me start?
Go on then.
Okay. I liked it. I really liked it. Yeah.
Their relationship.
Their relationship. Mhm.
Do you think it played out quite well?
Yeah.
You're sort of beside yourself, really, aren't you?
Maybe.
It's a little bit overwhelmed.
So, Freya, tell us why you're overwhelmed. Let's jump forward a bit.
It's just so great to see something that people can relate to, that kids can see someone in TV who likes girls when they're a girl, and it's just so nice because obviously we haven't really had that much in Doctor Who. Well, we had a bit, but it's just
Does this feel more like a genuine relationship? I say relationship,
and it's like it's heartbreaking as well because you know, obviously it can never happen, but you know, you see that vulnerability and you see how much they do care for each other and how much it's breaking both of their hearts that it just can't happen. You can see in the Doctor's eyes that she's like, I really care about you and I really want it, but it just can't. And it's just so beautiful.
The bit with them in the TARDIS doorway underwater, where the Doctor sort of lightheartedly said, "Oh, you know, I'm not a bad date, am I?" And then Mandit's
the range of facial
acting,
expressions.
They were very close as well with their faces.
I
thought they were going to snog at that point. To be honest.
Yes, I did too. Yeah, and Mandit played it really nicely. You know, there was
a lot going on in the eyes, wasn't there? With both of them,
there was. Yeah, because
that's the thing with these, you know, with any relationship really, between friends who are close,
you should be able to tell them stuff through eyes.
Yeah, it's the non-verbal communication as much as the verbal stuff. You know, the verbal stuff is the surface, and it's usually a little bit more considered, whereas the real emotion is coming out through your facial expressions, particularly your eyes. And throughout the last few stories, and actually looking back on all of their stories pretty much, Mandit Gill, every time it's almost like when she looks at the Doctor, there's a strengthening kind of, you know, understanding or what's the word? Maybe understanding's not the right word, but a fondness, an affection that just grows and grows,
and a sort of admiration. And,
well,
and
that's it. It starts
because...
off, I think, as a kind of an admiration and a sort of curiosity as well. You know, like, who is this woman? You know, but you know, very quickly, I think. And then you think she's besotted with her, isn't she?
Yeah. And then there's that scene when that I saw the other day where Yaz is with her mum, and the Doctor. And then and then Yaz's mum is like, "Are you two dating?" And they're like, No, we're just friends. We're friends, right? Yeah, we're just friends. It's like you can see it.
Yeah.
Even from way back then.
It's been played, very, very subtly and quite nicely across it all, I think. And you know, that scene with them sitting on the beach tonight was really nicely done, I thought.
It's unusual to see that kind of thing in a family show, because the expectation is that you can only have a gay relationship, you know, involving adults in an adult show. To have it in a kids show is what Freya's kind of saying.
There's so many, because there's so many, like in kids shows, it's just straight couples, and you see them kiss. So why is it seen as like gross or like
not normal?
Was it not normal to see gay people kiss?
It was quite interesting to sort of, I think, compare this to the 10th Doctor and Rose. You know, that relationship.
I said that.
Did you say that
I
as well?
told you that.
Did you say that just now?
No, I told you that
I
earlier.
said it first. I'm claiming it. I'm sorry.
That's rude.
Yeah, I'll do that sort of thing now. But I forgot what I was going to say now. But it's like, but again, that was always going to be a sort of unrequited relationship.
But this isn't really unrequited, because they both.
But this is consciously
they both
unrequited.
love each other. It just can't happen, because it's if they take. I'm trying to think in my head if they take it further, and if they kind of, well, they have accepted it, but if they, you know, if they do take it further, will it be more heartbreaking when the Doctor generates, or will it be more heartbreaking to have never had that?
Oh, yeah, good point.
And the Doctor regenerating.
Yeah, that's which one's worse? Both
are going to be heartbreaking, aren't they? You know, it's just a different, different thing. But I do feel that with the 10th Doctor and Rose, the whole idea of giving Rose a copy of the 10th Doctor to sort of take away and have a relationship was a massive cop-out, really. And I've never quite got over that, because I thought that was just awful. And I kind of hope they don't do a similar kind of cop out here. I hope they give the relationship the kind of genuine credibility
that they already have given it, and they build it up.
Exactly that. So it'd be quite nice. But it struck me as very doctorish as well, and actually sort of better than what the Doctor normally does. So the conversation on the beach at the end, the Doctor kind of comes clean, and she says, if I was going to do this with anybody, it would be with you. I can't because I can't fix myself to one person or one thing and all that, because there's going to be pain or hurt somewhere. But if I was going to, it would be you. And then she makes, and you think, well, that's quite a long way for the Doctor to come to sort of admit that and be open and honest with it. And then she goes and says something like, I said that something to my wife, didn't she? Or,
yeah.
What was the word?
So when they're in the ship, that's when she's saying, that's when she's saying if it will be anyone, it will be you. And then that's when she mentions her wife. And then on the beach, it's when she's saying, I can't fix myself.
That's it. That was it. Yeah. But again, that's a very doctorish thing, isn't it?
What did she say? She goes, I haven't felt this, or like I haven't cared about something. It's something like that. And she goes, well, maybe my wife. It's like, what?
Yeah, Elle's a different man.
And then starts getting really confused, which again is a very doctorish thing to do. Just that kind of scatterbrained sort of zip of thought.
And also you could tell, like, when Dan said to her in Eve of the Daleks that Yaz likes you, and she sort of appeared a bit oblivious to it. This was quite in character to sort of just blurt out that thing about when I said about a date and blah blah blah, and it would be you. It was sort of in the middle of chaos and trying to save the world and everything, and she just kind of thought, I'll say something, and it just came out. I thought
it's almost like she needs to distract herself to be able to say that kind of stuff. Because she was trying to like do whatever she's doing in there, and she was just like, okay, I'm just gonna say this while I'm actually thinking about something else, just because I feel like maybe it's because she doesn't think that she could say it at any other time, because then she'll just think about it too much. If she's thinking another thing at the same time, then
you can't sort of see her sitting down. I know they did on the beach, but sitting down for a really long conversation, and they obviously did end up doing that. But normally she just kind of blurts it all out amongst danger and everything. So I thought it was really nicely done, and really brilliantly played by the pair of them.
Definitely.
So I wonder how it's going to end. I'm not sure what it's going to be.
And I kind of like that.
I think it will be happy.
Yeah, I agree, and I kind of like that story isn't complete, because they could have wrapped it all up before the final ending, but they're clearly playing this right through from the very first 13th Doctor episode to the very last 13th Doctor episode.
It's really beautiful how they're doing it.
It is, and you could kind of, when I go back and rewatch these episodes from The Woman Who Fell to Earth, and we get the whole, we'll see it, and I'll be more inclined, I think, to look at this story, this narrative, through Yaz's perspective.
Yeah.
Knowing now who she is and where she comes from and what she's, and the journey she's been on personally, to kind of find herself and become herself and be confident and just express herself.
Well, I think
and be part of the adventure.
Well, when I messaged you earlier and said we should do a Thasmin special at some point, I think it would probably require rewatching.
Yes, we could do that,
and tracking all of this stuff, because I think there's a lot of it, and I think we've talked about this before, but a lot of the stuff in this era is quite long play in terms of its development and subtle, and it's not kind of developed across 3 episodes
exactly.
or something.
It's
taken
long,
30 to do it.
It's like we said before about Chris Chibnall writing this, scoping it out like a 3-4 season thriller, like a contemporary thriller, looking at all the characters, setting all the pieces out, having some flexibility between certain elements, but then within that there are kind of fixed points, if you like, that kind of are always going to be part of the narrative. And it's great to see that sort of played out as well. It kind of reminds me, I don't know if you've seen this, but a good old sci-fi series, Babylon 5. Anyone out there who knows it will know I'm talking about. 90s series, which was planned out as a 5 season-long sci-fi epic arc, like a novel. But the problem is that it was always cancelled. I think it was cancelled after season 3, and then it was renewed for season 4. Then it was cancelled after season 4, and then it was renewed finally for season 5. But each time it was cancelled, the narrative was kind of truncated. It was telescoped into a rushed sort of ending. So it never quite played out the way that Michael Straczynski had quite anticipated or planned. Whereas I get the feeling that this plan here is pretty much as Chris Chibnall kind of planned it. And like I said, maybe there's some flexibility in case actors suddenly decide they don't continue and drop out of contract. And
obviously, COVID has had
whatever.
an impact on it.
It definitely. Yes. Yeah, exactly. But I get the feeling within that he's still able to spin the narrative he wanted.
Yeah. He knew where he wanted this arc to go, and whether an action or development in it happened in Legend of the Sea Devils or Eve of the Daleks, you could have swapped those around and still have the same character beats happen, but that was always the plan with it, I think. So I really liked it. I thought it was really nicely done, and hopefully people who were excited for things were pleased with what happened tonight. So I think you guys are.
We were happy, weren't we? Absolutely. Yeah, your little face didn't stop beaming the whole way through, I don't think.
Yeah, people can't see Freya, but she's very happy, so that's great. So I said about the production values on the show. I thought it looked great tonight. Some really good music as well from Segen Akinola. Really stood out. Felt very kind of fitting and kind of nautical.
There was a lot of percussion in it, wasn't there? I think more so than I think I've heard in previous stories.
It felt kind of big film like, I thought the Sea Devils looked really good. For the supporting cast, I can't remember the guy's name, but the one who's the younger lad whose dad was killed in the village at the beginning. I thought he was brilliant. I quite liked that he just had this kind of normal voice, and it was quite kind of sweet, and then he was just really enjoying the whole adventure, and he was kind of paired up with Dan, and they were hanging upside down and everything, and then at the end he was got taken on board by Madam Ching, and gave her a big hug and everything, and she said, well, don't do that again, but sort of secretly liked it. So I really liked him. I thought he was great.
Yeah. It was. I agree. Sorry, I was just getting distracted by a tweet from Sophie Aldred, which we're going to come to in a bit, because there's some really exciting stuff going on here. It is. I must admit. I mean, I kind of thought we would probably have seen a bit more of Madam Ching. It's difficult because this was only 40-something minutes long, less than 50 minutes long.
Yeah.
So there was a lot of stuff which you had to kind of pack in, and Madam Ching, I thought, wasn't really done in any great depth. She was kind of there to sort of glue things together and bring. There was a lot of very different elements. We had the guy from the past. We had obviously the Sea Devils and their nefarious plans, and we had that sort of revenge quest that got diverted. The guy from the village, and it was very. The whole thing felt to me like it was very fragmented. It was very stop, start. There was some big action sequences. There were some things that didn't quite seem to flow, as if there were little bits missing somewhere, just a little, bits of glue. But on the whole, it was. So I thought it was fine. It flowed. It had a nice pace to it. It moved quite a lot, and I think maybe if I watch it again, I'll probably be a little bit more positive minded towards it. I think.
I think there was a lot of rumour, which is really unusual in this fandom, but a lot of rumour.
You just sense the sarcasm burning off him, can't you?
The episode had something culturally offensive in it, or something in it, and it suddenly had 10 minutes cut out of it.
It's possible. I'd heard that rumour, but that would seem pretty.
But that's only based on the fact that the director's CV listed it at 60 minutes, and then it was reported as 50 minutes on one of the TV
I kind of think,
guides.
Looking at it, that it seemed to me like it was maybe cut because maybe I don't know, maybe they were originally given 60 minutes and then were told they had to make it fit a 47-minute slot after it had all been filmed or something. I don't know, whatever.
It felt like it was, I hate to say this, it was sloppily edited.
Yeah,
and I think that's down to how it was
I'm glad
filmed.
you said that, because I was kind of feeling it. You know, there was one, for example, where they were. It was quite early on in the episode, and it's when they first encountered the sea devil, and there's a bit of a conflab on the beach.
It's a kinetic thingy.
Yeah, and then suddenly the sea devil's up in a net, so they'd laid a Scooby-Doo trap for him, and he's upside down hanging in there. So hold on, so where did that come from?
I think they might have done that. Well, I thought that bit was that because the sea devil didn't expect it, you're kind of, the audience didn't too, and then suddenly it's like Yaz and Dan are pulling them up.
Yeah, but it was like they missed something out in the middle, almost like even just planning for it. Which, and also, you know, I mean, I think we said we discussed this to some degree with Pete Levy, didn't we? And I wonder if he knew about this, but you know, when he was saying you don't have to explain everything, and I agree, you know, you don't.
No. But
at the same time, what you don't explain, I think, has to be considered. And to be honest, I mean, it sounds like I'm making a meal of it, but it didn't deter me from the story at all. You know, I thought, okay, that's a weird thing. And to be honest, I've seen an awful lot worse in much bigger productions with a lot more money and time, to be fair. You know, we're talking about, you know, a BBC show which has a relatively low budget compared to the competitors that it's always put up against. You know, the likes of Marvel and Star Wars and, you know, all these big budget American things, which, you know, this is produced on a fraction of those budgets, an absolute fraction,
really is.
And even less time. So, you know, the fact it looks as good as it does is something.
Oh yeah, it looked great tonight. I mean, you know, the net thing didn't bother me, and you know, but I thought, oh, okay, you know, where's that suddenly come from? And there was a few bits where kind of this is probably boring for people, but the geography in scenes was a bit like, what's going on? So like when Madam Ching was in the village, and the statue had exploded, and then there was a shot on the Doctor, Yaz and Dan talking to her, and then it showed Madam Ching, and I was like, what? They don't even look like
they're in the same.
They're not even in the same geographical space, because there's no wide shot on them, and then they did show a wide shot, and I was like, well, why didn't we see that earlier? And then on bits like when Jodie slid down the banister, as it were, on the boat, there was like a really horrible cut where obviously it had gone from stunt double to her, and then there was
almost, she seemed to do like a backflip or something, wasn't
it? She did a flip.
We saw
that was quite fun.
But again, it was no wide shot. There was a lot of close, tight shots on people, wasn't it? So clearly they're doing each bit independently of each other, I think.
Well, it's possible that, yes, people could be there because of COVID or scheduling or, you know, whatever. And like when Dan was hanging upside down, and then there was a shot of Madam Ching walking around talking to them, immediately I was like, well, that doesn't feel like she's there. And then they showed them in a wide shot. So, you know, it's quite...
It's very possible that was a COVID
it's quite
thing. I think about when it might have been filmed.
I think
so.
Yeah, it's. I mean, occasionally you see things like this in anything. In fact, we had my wife was watching something this morning. It was some show where people have they do up their cafes and people come in to judge them or something. And then there was a shot of like the tables in one of them, and I noticed that the people outside the window were walking backwards. And I said, "Look at this," and I rewound it to show her. And she said, "You're a ruiner. You've ruined it." I said, "They've obviously reversed the shot to get a better move around the table, but there's 3 people walking backwards that I can quite clearly see." And and I remember in Witchfinders, which is an episode I love, there's a really bad edit in it where they've obviously cut something, but it's when they're following Willa Twist. Is that her name? And
I know you mean, yeah.
Yaz goes to touch her on the shoulder or something. It's quite near the beginning when they're going to see the witch getting dunked, and then it cuts to Yaz's angle, and Yaz's hand is down, and Willa was turned, and it's like, whoa, it's really jarring because obviously something's been taken out, or you know the continuity was a hash at the time on it, you know. So I tend to kind of sadly notice stuff
obviously
like that sometimes. But yeah, I felt tonight
all of this stuff that we're like picking out. It's
minor, isn't it?
It's still tiny.
Yeah,
it is. Yeah, do you know? And all it is me looking at it
just
because
you
this
being
is what I do
picky.
for my job.
Yeah.
You know,
and to be fair,
It's
and,
like
and it
when
doesn't
you have
bother me.
like three good contestants on a show, and you have to try and pick out who was the one.
Just tiny little,
just tiny little things.
Yeah. You didn't add salt to your venison steak or something. Yeah. But I think as a doctor,
and it hasn't detracted at all from. It hasn't attracted at all from my enjoyment, and it, you know, I understand that, you know, sometimes things, you know, there's time problems, scheduling problems, all sorts of stuff, you know, and it just felt a little bit unclear.
And as we know, Doctor Who has a long tradition of of sets that, let's say, don't quite work, of editing decisions that again don't quite work. You know, and time constraints and production constraints and problems for this, that, and everything else. They've been there right since the very, very beginning. And I think any Doctor Who fan
and it happens on all sorts of stuff. You
just
know, and
forgive all that stuff. You know, like you said,
it's all
that's so
marketing.
easy when the story is so good. You can just forget
it. That's it. Exactly. Yeah, and it's I'm pointing it out because I noticed it, but I'm not criticising because I wasn't there
and the
and
mistakes
I didn't know what happened.
Aren't so big that it's all you notice. If you know, it's kind of just a side thing you notice if you really pay attention, kind of thing.
Yeah, and you know, with my stuff, you know, things happen, and sometimes you know you have no choice but to make an edit that continuity doesn't
you've got to go
work
with
because
what
of
you've
things.
got.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. So it's, you know, it's not saying anyone's done a bad job.
Oh, not at all. No, definitely
Maybe
not.
stuff
No,
was
I mean,
cut.
bloody
you know,
hell. I mean,
I don't know. You know,
the thing looks amazing. It really did. I mean, that
the ship sets were brilliant.
The flying Sea Devil sailing ship was
so
astonishing
cool.
to look at. You know, I mean, that's.
Yeah, there was some great visual effects in it, and the Sea Devil ship thing with the sort of consoles and the bubbly tubes and stuff looked brilliant. You know,
it did. There's a lot of atmosphere
set design and the lighting on it,
and the Sea Devil.
Really lovely.
A lot of really good lighting. There was a lot of CGI in this as well,
Damp
wasn't there? I think. You know,
there was
like
a lot,
the basic stuff, like, you know, shots out to sea and expanding the beach, and you know the stars kind of swirling around between the clouds in a beautiful sunlit sky. You know, really nice colours.
Lovely. And that shot on Madam Ching's eyes with the stars reflecting in her eyes.
And
lovely.
Obviously, you know, with the
really
Sea Devil
nice.
masks as well, sort of slightly CGI enhanced. There's a lot of stuff going on, and I think this is going to be one of those episodes which is going to reward the rewatch. I mean, I guess like a lot of. You know, a lot of any Doctor Who story, really. You know, it's almost like when the first time you watch it, it's like it's too full on. You can't, at least for me.
There's too many things to take in at once.
It's too much to process. Yes. So you need to kind of get it all in, right? Get all the stuff out of your head, and then sit down more calmly and watch it again on its own terms. And you know, I thought with all of the Chris Chibnall stories, you know, they've all massively rewarded a rewatch. There is so many layers to the narrative. There's so much to pick out and enjoy. You know, the more you watch it, at least, you know, from my point of view, anyway. In my humble opinion.
Yeah, and I think this is an episode that if I wanted to just, if I had an hour and I wanted to just watch Doctor Who and have something that I would enjoy, it would be this. Because it's like sometimes I sit down and I think, oh, I'd like to watch a Jodie episode tonight. Oh, Spyfall's brilliant. I don't have 2 hours. Yeah. You know, so I'll watch Nikola Tesla because I can fit it in, you know. And this would be one of those episodes that I know I will enjoy again.
And again, it's like we said with Nikola Tesla, isn't it? It's one of those kind of standard, almost by the numbers episode, but, you know, filled where you don't have to have any prior knowledge of any other Doctor Who story. You don't even have to know any other Sea Devil story. You've never watched any Sea
get
Devil
enough.
Story, so, you know, it doesn't really...
you get enough from it. So, okay, here's a question. So, in the past, I've seen people saying they like Doctor Who episodes that are, you know, arc heavy, and they don't really like quote unquote filler episodes, which I find a bit weird because I've never felt that Doctor Who has been an arc heavy show, and you know, every episode is kind of its own thing. So, saying you know, it has filler episodes, it's a bit like, but that's
the whole of Jodie's first series was filler episodes.
Standalone episodes. Yeah, I really dislike the term filler episode. I think it's an episode is an episode. I mean, I know people have got to have their labels. Yeah. That's fine for them.
And sometimes I like them because sometimes you just need a break from the arc.
Yeah, you do. And to be fair, I think the arc from this is character based more than anything.
Yeah.
It's not like a grand. I mean, okay, Flux was a sort of universal saga type thing, but
that was just different.
In the past, we've had graffiti on a wall, newspaper headlines, and a word. It was not like a core part of those
really
episodes.
Arcs, were they? You could take any of those Bad Wolf stories out of the whole thing.
When I first watched that, I didn't
just enjoy it on its own.
I didn't understand the arc.
No,
suddenly there was the Bad Wolf thing, and I was like, wait, this has been a thing?
Yeah, it's not an arc, though, is it?
This.
Well, an arc is a narrative that is told over multiple episodes, isn't it? And it's basically just a longer story made of chapters. Like Flux.
That's it. Yeah. So let's talk about the big sea beast in the ocean.
It wasn't the Merca, was it? I don't think.
But I couldn't make out what they were calling it. I mean, it was awesome.
No, but they weren't calling it the Merca, which I was a bit disappointed with. I'm not going to lie. I'm waiting for that. It's a Merca from Jodie's mouth, in which case I would have stood up and literally punched the air and hit my head on the ceiling.
When they said something about our sea creature or something, she reacted like I thought, oh, she's singing it's a Merca. But I couldn't make out what they were calling it. Like, was it like just a sea?
I don't know.
I don't know. It was like a slave or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, the Sea Devils and the Silurians have a history of turning prehistoric creatures into their pets, enhancing them in some way, giving them sort of cybernetic implants or uplifting them to slightly higher levels of intelligence or something. And that's in the Silurians, the cave monsters, they did it with a T-Rex in the caves. Obviously, they had the Merca in Warriors of the Deep, and in some of the spin-off media as well. So the Virgin New Adventures novel, there was all kinds of beasts in that, and I think they were sort of hinted at the Hungry Earth Cold Blood 2-part from the 11th Doctor as well. So I just kind of thought, well, it's just another one of those, one of those animals that they've done something with to, sort of terrorise the South China Seas. So it might have been a Merca variant, so I'm going to go with that.
Yes. Yeah. Headcanon. Yeah, I liked it. It was a great shot when the guy in the little sailing boat.
Yeah, the top down
kind of crane shot, and he was looking up at it, and you saw the kind of shadow under the water and stuff, and its jaws, and it ate the TARDIS.
Jaws were massive. Really cool. There's that great shot, wasn't there, when he going into its mouth? I mean, that was that would have been great in 3D.
I thought it was brilliant. It I don't know what it was called, and it maybe wasn't the Merca, but it looked cool to me. I liked it. Yeah, and talking of the 11th Doctor, I liked.
Yes!
Oh my god!
Jumping from the ship to ship. Yeah, that was good fun. Yeah. It was
I love the swinging and the
swing was great.
That was cool.
It's almost like a checklist. What have you got to have in a pirate story? Where you've got to have like a bit of swashbuckling. You've got to have a treasure map, some sort of treasure hunt. There was that whole kind of search for the magic crystal power source thing, which
you got a hook, which Dan provided for us.
Dan's costume! How great was that?
Did you just run up like this?
Well, at least he didn't get a hook. Hey, what about this then?
Yeah.
Oh, dude, he's got the hook as well. Yeah.
There was a lot to like in this one, and we're sort of we've been supposed vaguely critical of it,
but hopefully in a friendly sort of way.
Friendly critical, constructive criticism.
No, I it's constructive, and also the bottom line.
Exactly, I enjoyed it as well. I can't not enjoy it. I don't want to not enjoy it.
It's just something else to say than us just marvelling over it the entire time.
It's a lot of fun.
Anyone who's listening, hopefully, us not being just uniformly like awesome about everything will be quite good to hear that we can talk
about Doctor Who.
You don't need to say that, Geoff.
Yeah, but I really enjoyed it. It was great, and there's kind of like I said earlier, I don't think I was expecting the Master to turn up at the end. I don't think I was expecting this to do a fugitive of the Jadoon on us.
But that's the thing, isn't it? That's what I've really enjoyed about a lot of this era. The fact that we don't know what goes on.
So many surprises.
Exactly, because it could have. Because remember, with fugitive of the Jadoon, I think most of us were just expecting a bit of a romp in Gloucester with the space rhinos from previous years. You know, we didn't expect it to suddenly change the entire narrative of everything that we thought we knew about the Doctor. You know, so this could easily have been something like that, and you know, and it didn't. But what it did do, the kind of the added weight to this story, I think, was the whole Dr. Yasmin thing. You know, the way that it gave that relationship some more substance. It moved it on a little bit more, and it gave it depth.
Yeah, which is a good.
And it's true to the feel of this era. You know, because this has felt for me a very humanistic era. The characterization has felt very, very real. It's about being human. You know, we've had grief and loss. We've had friendships that have been lost and broken, but incredible ways. You know, ways that are credible, believable, and grounded. You know, we don't suddenly become the most important person in the universe. We don't have our DNA change, so we're some kind of, you know, luminous being that can bestow the gift of life and death with a snap of a finger or something. That's left to the aliens and the other entities. You know, the humans in this era remain human and true to their humanity. That's kind of what I was getting. Was that beautiful?
Yeah. That was lovely.
I'm quite impressed with that at 10:30 or 11 at night or whatever time it is.
Yeah, very good,
10 to 11.
10 to 11. I'm not usually as lucid as that at this time of night.
No, you normally...
especially after a few bottles of wine.
You're normally playing on your Xbox.
Yeah, that's just brain auto, that is. Auto brain.
So, shall we have a look at some of the comments?
Let's have a look at comments, and then we've got to discuss that trailer.
That had you jumping.
Let's do that. So, Orinoco McGee, who's at Deadly Night, says, I absolutely bloody loved it and was left in buckets of tears during that phenomenal Coming Soon trailer. I can wait for the next episode because I don't want it to be over.
Everyone keeps saying, I can't wait that long, and I was like, I want to.
I can wait.
Yeah, I can
we'll
wait
as long as it takes.
And she said, those cameos absolutely floored me, and I screamed, holy moly. Andy Parkinson, who is at Caffrey's71, said, enjoyed the episode as a whole, but the defeating of the Sea Devils was a bit blink and you miss it. Then there's the feels from the Doctor and Yaz, and then there's that trailer, all in capitals. I haven't quite calmed down yet. Who Hats says, for all its aquatic themes, an oddly dry episode, which I suspect will be primarily remembered for furthering the Thasmin dynamic rather than any Sea Devil action. Then we've had a tweet from James Pardon, who is the show photographer that we chatted to recently, which you can catch in one of our past podcasts, and he's put a gif of SpongeBob, which I assume is him squealing with excitement. Rich Harmon, who's at Rich Harmon 13, says, was great to have the Sea Devils back. I did enjoy it, but it seemed rushed to me. The trailer for the Centenary special was epic. I can't wait. Kendrick at DDP Kendrick says, hang on, he's written a thread here. I've got to find out what the first one. I've got a lot of thoughts as always. First of all, the episode, enjoyed it a lot. I say this every episode, but Jodie was on fire. He was 13, top form from start to finish. Great jokes, great charisma, great energy. Dan and Yaz also being good, but Dan here gets the short end of the stick in my opinion. Yeah, I think that's not... I mean, he had his nice moment with Di on the phone, which was an unexpected and welcome surprise. But yes, as I mentioned just now, this is more of a Thasmin.
Yeah, but it was nice that Dan did get to have his own sort of story. He didn't have to be
Yes, and hopefully there might be...
Oh, that was good.
Yeah, and hopefully we might get to see her and him, get together again in some way in the Centenary.
Even though the scenes between Yaz and Dan were short, they were still good. Like when he came out in the costume, it's like they just have that little interaction, and then that interaction during the sword fight and stuff, they just have those little moments which are nice and filling.
Fulfilling.
Fulfilling.
Yeah. Fulfilling.
I don't know words.
You do know words. You know quite a lot of words.
Kendrick said...
Tops at English.
I'm glad the story was so short and so quick. It stayed its welcome and served its purpose well as a filler episode. I know you don't really mean filler, like we've just discussed.
But it's funny how these terms become almost like commonplace, don't they?
Yeah, he doesn't mean that derogatory. I'm sure. Yeah. You know, it's just like a standalone. It's a standalone episode.
It's just a normal episode, really. Like the majority of Doctor Who is really. You know, I think it's most Doctor Who stories are kind of like this one. You know.
Yeah, exactly. They are. Yeah.
Easy for new fans to just jump in and watch it.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, and for an episode that's going out on Easter,
that's
like
what
that,
you want.
You know,
it's like
couldn't have been arc heavy.
Yeah, it's like the Planet of the Dead in a way, isn't it? Which quite often actually,
yeah, it is. Yeah, gets, great fun, but nothing outstanding. But I don't even know.
Episode.
Yeah, I don't know why we're discussing heavy arcs in Doctor Who. It's not something that's ever
Flux has been the heaviest multi-episode story.
It has been, yeah, and
keep the time,
really was,
hasn't it? You know?
Since ever, yeah, in the new era anyway. So Kendrick also said here, the editing is a bit strange. There were some scenes I really liked, namely the ending scene and the ones of Doctor Who in the Sea Devil base. However, there were many abrupt tone shifts and weird edits that made it clear how chaotic the behind the scenes of this episode with COVID restrictions was. It was very obvious and they had restrictions. And then he says, overall, an enjoyable ride, came and went and had a few issues. Trailer looks amazing, huge fan of Sasha's Master, and most hyped to have him back, as well as Ashad and my favourites, the Pepper Potts. Looking forward to it. So that's good. So I think, let me just double check, that might be all the tweets that we've had in. Yes,
so that leads us quite nicely into that.
It does. Well done, Kendrick. You teed us up there. Yeah. So the Centenary special is coming, autumn 2022. Hearts will be breaking. So yeah, that trailer had a few surprises. With Ace back, which was rumoured, and I didn't actually think was going to be true. So that was
it actually rumoured?
Nice. I'd heard talk of it.
I hadn't at all, to be honest.
You could probably just pass that off as hopes and dreams, though.
Yeah.
And now it's real.
Do you know what? That's the thing. There's always so many, rumours and hearsay and stuff.
I mean, since Ace did the Charitable Earth trailer on, what was it, the season 24 collection box set? Was it that season 24? I think it was, or the one before, whichever one. Anyway, 23, 24.
Ooh.
But I thought, it'd be great to have her back, and and also the novel as well, at Childhood's End,
the book, I was just going to say, I wonder if there'll be
that
any
same world. So I wonder if, yes, we're on the same wavelength there. We know that
because they've met by this point in the Doctor's narrative, which is
awesome. But Tegan, who on earth thought she'd be coming back? I mean, wow, that was amazing. I mean, I loved Janet Fielding to bits. And to see, I did. You're right. Okay, so if it had been rumoured or Ace, the ground had been almost prepared for Ace to come back, and we, love to see it. But Ace and Tegan, I mean, oh my God,
That's really cool, and I wonder if there's anyone else.
Yeah, well, they could be, couldn't they?
You never know.
You never know.
Well, we've been shocked so many times.
Yeah. Oh, we've got Kate Stewart as well.
Kate, which was not entirely unexpected. I thought Sasha would be back.
That kind of makes sense.
Which is.
We still need that story to complete itself.
Yes, that's got to be finished.
Close the circle.
Close the circle.
I don't believe that it will end with the Timeless Child stuff not being touched. And
do you think they're going to resolve it?
I don't want them to.
You don't. I don't want them to.
I think it will probably be left slightly.
I feel like it'll be open
to. Yeah, I think it will have a conclusion, but there's still questions. I saw something the other day saying that Chris expects Russell to ignore his stuff, which actually made me quite sad, really, because I thought.
But I don't think that's a bad thing in a way. I mean, it's especially if it is.
I don't think he should carry it on.
I do
think that.
I feel like he might give the opportunity for it to be continued.
Yeah, if it needs to be.
referenced, I think that's fine.
If they feel it's necessary, and for it also to have a sort of close. It's like when you watch a series and it's finished and you don't know if it's going to be renewed or not, and it's almost like it could, but it couldn't. And it would work both ways.
It would work either way. Yeah.
I feel like that might happen.
Yeah. And of course, when you're taking on, and I know Russell's obviously done this before, but when you're taking on a show, you don't really want to feel beholden to all the baggage. You can pop it in as and when you want it, but it shouldn't be the responsibility of the incoming showrunner to tie up that story or to feel obliged that they have to, But
no, and I don't think he should. Yeah. I just think it should
still
be, yes, exactly. If there's if a narrative opportunity arises to reference it, it should be
don't change
being ignored. When Moffat started, he did not ignore that Gallifrey was gone, for example.
It would just be weird to ignore.
He ended up tying up.
It's like you can't ignore it, but you don't have to mention. You don't have to carry it on
if you don't want to. But if
Yeah.
you do mention it, it should be true to what's been set up previously.
And you shouldn't just get rid of it all, because that would just ruins everything.
That's kind of like the Eighth Doctor saying he's half human. I mean, don't know where that went, but obviously everyone forgot about that one pretty quickly. It's like, okay.
Wasn't there one line somewhere about being half? There was a line about it at one point, wasn't there?
Maybe
half human.
Maybe it's like half human, as in spent so much time on Earth and around humans that they're accepting and feeling human
like
stuff.
in a non-figurative kind of way.
Yeah. Other than physically.
So I wasn't expecting to see a shadow.
No, I mean, how on earth does that happen?
I wasn't expecting to see. Well, how does that happen?
Yeah, intriguing.
Did Master take his little shrunken form?
He did. He popped him in a little box, didn't he? Or did he flick him away somewhere?
Yeah.
Put him in his pocket.
I can't remember.
He put himself in his pocket and then flicked himself away. But I think he put Ashad in like a little, I don't know, tin of sweets or something.
Yeah, I can't remember. And I was surprised to see Daleks, but not sure why I was surprised to see Daleks.
Great,
because they were And what I have also liked seeing, which I have seen people talking about before online as well, is 13 wearing the classic red space suit.
Yes, the red suits, which always spells trouble.
And Jan was wearing it.
Yes, he was, I think. Yeah.
Yes, he was, wasn't he? Yeah. I'm just going to pause this discussion here because we've had a couple of tweets come in as we've been talking. So one has come in, or two actually, from Head Desk, who's at Miss Head Desk. She says, it is hard to overstate the importance of the way they are dealing with the feelings between Yaz and the Doctor. This is such an important storyline to so many people, and we know it is never going to be easy or straightforward, but it is done with love and care by all concerned, not least Jodie and Mandip, who blew it out of the water. Standing ovation from me. Yeah, I would too. And then Annette, who's at Annie TQED, says, OMG, the Doctor and Yaz. There's two parts to this. The best part is that it was the singularly greatest moment in TV history. A queer Doctor Who has confessed to having big feelings for Yaz, flirting like a player, comparing her to her wife. The end bit leaves loads up in the air, as the press release said. And you can tell she's conflicted. Yaz seems to understand, if a little deflated, but has some wisdom. The can we just live in the present of what we have is so moving, and in no way suggests the Doctor wants to stay friends. But she's conflicted and worried about pain, as she might fix herself to someone. I'm not even thinking about any other story arc, but this one. This was the minimum I wanted. The Doctor confesses.
It's acknowledged.
Neither of them say I love you
in any sort of flippant way. Sorry, were you going to say that?
Yeah. She says, note neither of them say I love you, so that may happen next time. So, I mean, to me, that was what, she was saying without saying it. So, yeah, maybe it will be verbalised next time.
Who, the Doctor or Yaz?
Well, I think that's both. Yeah. So, that was great, and I'm pleased to see people are happy with it. So, That's our review of Legend of the Sea Devils, and thanks to everyone who's tweeted in
thanks
tonight.
Everyone.
So we'll be doing some more episode reviews soon, and we've got a couple of show creative interviews coming out soon as well. Or depending on when you're listening to this, you might already have listened to those, and you'll be thinking,
"What are you talking about?
I've already heard all of that." But yeah, keep with us. We've got some good stuff coming up, and we really do appreciate everyone who tweets us and follows us and listens and tells us that they listen
with their friends.
All of that. So, and shares us. Yeah. So please keep doing that. The more of that we get going on, the
more we can do.
Kind of
do
for you guys, right. Really, yeah. So,
Otherwise, we're just whistling in the wind.
Thanks, everyone. Yeah, we are.
But it is nice. Every time someone drops a comment in, and it's nice. It's nice to know people are actually listening to this, and we're not just talking to ourselves.
Exactly. Yeah, it does mean a huge amount for us.
So thank you, everybody. We'll see you next time.
See you next time.
Enjoy, and let's have another look at that awesome trailer. I'm just going to go look at it now again.
Yeah, I'm going to do that again. Now, yeah.
This is like the 5th time.
At least the 5th time. Not probably the 25th time I've watched it. It was amazing, though, wasn't it?
So good. And the fact she said yes.